What's good, family? So smash the like button, subscribe, and lick off the bell. So your man's Carl Flat Earth FROCH has aired out all of the Jack Catterall shills, saying, ranting and raving about the biggest robbery in the last millennia. Now, Carl FROCH said the following in reaction to Taylor versus Catterall alleged robbery. If you go on survival mode for the last 4 rounds of a world title fight, the judges do not like it, especially when you're the challenger. Opportunity gone. Now, people who haven't listened to my post-fight analysis, I went deep for an hour, going over all the intricacies using my number one in the game, training knowledge. If you don't know me already, my name's the YB, I'm the number 2 trainer in the UK currently, behind Shane McGuigan, voted by Down Bad Magazine. Anyway, that's just some little details for you, man. Bottom line is, in that video, in my post-fight interview, again, I hate to break it to you, but bottom line is, again, listen, I'm the one who told you exactly what Carl Froch said before he said it. All these things here are not revolutionary concepts. And this shows you that people who get boxing, people who are knee-deep in boxing, or waist-deep in boxing, or chin-deep in boxing, YB, Carl Froch, Manny Stewart, Kirsty and Mark, all them cats there, there's a reason we all think the same, because we, one of them ones, we're spiritually connected. Nah, I'm not blaming you casual dons, but you casual, oh, he got robbed, he this, he that, he ain't do nothing, oops, yeah, you can't take an undisputed champion's belts on home turf, plain touch butt, and just not doing much for the 12 rounds, especially championship rounds, especially after you put the guy down. I said, what? That's the no-no. You don't do that. Honestly, it would have been better for Catterall if he hadn't have put Josh Taylor down. But you put the man. Honestly, I had some coins on the line at the time, and I had to turn the fight off. I couldn't watch the last 4 rounds. I thought, damn, he's gonna get stopped. That's how bad it was looking for Josh Taylor. I didn't see no way he was gonna make it through. I've never seen him look so rough. Dog rough he was looking. But guess what? Jack Catterall, never tried to push on. He never tried to claim. People don't appreciate that this wasn't for a IBO world title. This wasn't some Chris Eubank belt. Yeah, this wasn't some Chris Eubank Jr. belt. This wasn't some IBO. This was not only a proper world championship belt, not only a unified championship belt. This was an undisputed championship opportunity. Did you see Jack Catterall? After knocking the man down, after knocking the undisputed champion down, did you see Jack Catterall go in there and fight like an undisputed championship challenger? I didn't. I saw a man go in there. Honestly, this looked like, if you told me this was Jack Catterall versus some random Euro bum for the IBO title, I'd have said, yeah, that makes sense. This looked like an IBO title fight. Genuinely. This looked like Jack Catterall was the challenger for IBO Christopher Eubank Jr. belt. This did not look like the pinnacle of the sport. Let's be real now. The only one who looked like they were fighting for something was Josh Taylor. Now, it would have been, I actually feel, it sounds might be controversial to say, but I genuinely feel that if Jack Catterall had won, people say, oh, I can't believe how much of a bad example this sets for the kids. I'm sorry, but after Mayweather, after Klitschko's and whatnot, well, not the Klitschko's, after Vladimir Klitschko, just playing the jab, run around game, and even then he would dominate with that. You can't tell me that Catterall was dominating, he weren't coming forward. Jack Catterall didn't make a forward step the whole night. So never mind the bad example this so-called robbery puts on. All I know is, the kids got to watch Josh Taylor turn up in his home backyard and march forward the whole night. Looking for trouble, looking to land shots. Even if he had an awful performance, he was trying. Yeah? The kids got to watch a man try his best and win. I don't think that's a bad example. If anything, Josh Taylor showed me tonight that sometimes it won't all come together, i.e. sometimes you won't feel your best. Sometimes your shots won't be crisp. Sometimes you will over-heavy work. Sometimes you might want it too much. Sometimes you might overtrain. But even so, if you've got the will and determination, you can still win. That's what that lesson showed me. Not, well, you can rock up after having won no belts in your whole career. You can rock up to an undisputed fight and then play touch butt for 12 rounds and cling on for 12 rounds and become undisputed champion out of nowhere. Yeah? You can become undisputed champion after going life and death and winning a mixed decision against O'Hara Davis. And then play touch butt with the undisputed champion for 12 rounds and cling on for 12 rounds, and that gets you undisputed champion. And then in the championship rounds of the undisputed championship fight, you're just going through the motions after scoring a knockdown in the 8th round. That's a bad example to the kids. We don't need no more of the Floyd Mayweather examples or the Vladimir Klitschko examples where just going through the motions is enough. Yeah, that's what we don't need. So as far as setting examples go, I actually believe Josh Taylor set a better example to the kids and to the community. Now, of course, casuals who don't appreciate the deeper spiritual and, you know what I mean, the deeper spiritual and whatever else, details of the sport. Oh, it's a robbery because you scored the point system, says this, that and the other. Listen, F the point system. For me, at this level, when you're talking about pound for pound and undisputed, it's more than just A's and B's and C's and 1s and 2s and 3s. And as far as the other side of things went, there was no spirit from CATTERALL tonight. He looked like he was having a stroll down the park, which is admirable to some extent, but being calm for 8 rounds, 9 rounds, and then ranking up the gears, that's what greatness is. Greatness isn't, okay, genuinely, Jack CATTERALL started the fight in gear 2. He finished the fight in gear 2. That can't work at this level, I'm afraid. Can't work. Not when you're expecting to rock up in someone's backyard, and even if you weren't, I don't care where you was. It's just not acceptable. At this level, in any sport, rocking up and just going through the motions, not good enough. And unfortunately, Jack CATTERALL's corner are possibly to blame here. They should have told him, listen boss man, yeah, we're in his backyard, he's the champion, he's done all the hard work, he's pushing the fight every round, let's start to show our class now. Let's show what we've been working on. Let's start picking this guy apart and let's get a few more knockdowns to make sure it's clear. They didn't say that. They told him, oh, be careful, be safe, be careful, be safe. The last thing Jack CATTERALL needed more of is being careful and being safe. He had that down pat for 12 round. He needed to get stuck in and start letting his hands go. Because he started to look like Adrian Broner, truth be known. Yeah? It's a shame, because he could have genuinely won this fight, I think, clearly. Will he get the opportunity again? I hope so. I think, in fact, I demand so. I demand Josh Taylor rematches him. But I'm saying, will Jack CATTERALL get such a weak and poor 1 out of 10 Josh Taylor again? I don't believe so. And if he does, that will show that Josh Taylor wasn't all that anyway, and therefore Jack CATTERALL will deserve to win. If Jack CATTERALL is able to up his game next time, he should be the champion, no doubt about that. But this time, you heard that from Carl Froch, you heard that from the YB. All these people, we are spiritually connected to the boxing gods. Yeah, we're spiritually connected to boxing. We know what time it is. 100%. Carl Froch ain't here woofing for the sake of it. If you go into survival mode for the last 4 rounds of a world title fight, undisputed title fight at that, the judges do not like it. Especially when you're the challenger. Opportunity gone. That's what is the bottom line here, people. His team, his corner, should have done a better job. Them last few rounds. Listen, Jack, I've got nothing to lose now. All to gain. Do you want this? Show us. And the thing is, if he'd have started earlier, Jack CATTERALL was really, he could have started for the last 6 rounds. No one's saying he needed to go in there and start swinging left and right with his chin down, but he could have. If you start early enough, you can gradually build pressure. Okay, so for example, okay, I'm in the 6th round. I've been doing what I've been doing for 6 rounds. In the 7th round, let me now, every 30 seconds, put in a good heavy combination. Yeah? If that starts working, the next round, okay, let me put in 2 heavy combinations. And you know what I mean? Let's start taking some risk. Incrementally. No one's asking you to go from doing what you was doing to then just going wild. Just all Jack CATTERALL needed, yeah, was to attempt a few more combinations. But he wasn't letting his hands go. He wasn't even trying. He was happy to sit back, and only if Josh Taylor gave it to him on an absolute plate would he take it. That's not good enough, I'm afraid. Yeah? If Josh Taylor stood in front of him with a clear gap, he'd take the shot. But that's not... You have to make holes. This is the fight business. You make holes. You break people. That's what your mentality should have been. Because I believe if Josh Taylor's mindset had been in Jack Catterall's skill set today, Josh Taylor would have been stopped. Do you understand? If Jack Catterall had really wanted it like Josh Taylor did, Josh Taylor would have been stopped, because it was one of them ones. Jack Catterall was missing that spite and that urgency and that viciousness, which if he'd had it, it would have been truly peak for Josh Taylor, because he had no answers. I'm actually quite aggrieved that we didn't get to see that. I'm grieved that we didn't get to see escalation from the knockdown. That should have been the start. Instead, it's almost like Jack Catterall thought, well, I'm going to relax on my laurels now. Yeah, I've won the fighters in the back. That's how it looked like. Normally, knockdown is when you're supposed to smell blood. Okay, the writing is now on the wall. He can't take my shots. He's tired. Let me start breaking him down now. That's supposed to reaffirm your offense. I mean, if knocking someone down doesn't give you confidence to start letting your hands go, what will? And again, that doesn't show championship or undisputed class to me. You get knocked down and you carry on, do what you've been doing. Now, I'm afraid that's what you call asking for it on a plate. Don't get me wrong. Was Jack Catterall prepared to be handed the world on a plate? Absolutely, he was. He wasn't prepared to take it, though. He wasn't prepared to snatch it. He wanted it to be handed to him. And unfortunately, like Dana White says, don't leave it in the hands of the judges. And it's one of them ones. Carl Froch don't miss.